Dragonheirs! I'm still super hype about this game. Hopefully you are too. Dragonheir has been a blast. It's been almost entirely free to play. The game has supported me. I am happy to support the game. Things are going kind of great. So if you are interested in Dragonheir, I hope you download it using the code in the description to this video. And I hope you check out, if you decide to spend on the game, my lovely, nice discount code to the website in the description to this video too. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at my champion so far. We're going to do the same thing about my magic chess sometime soon, but we're going to look at my legendary champions. Playing and putting literally like $5 in once, I've been able to get a ton of champions. We're going to look at the compositions I can make and what they mean right now in the game. So that's my basic plan. We're going to kick it off by looking at our Radiance heroes. So we have our Radiance as our main team right now. That is not surprising. If you download the game right now, you will be able to get towards Annalises. Annalises is an amazing, amazing hero. We're actually gonna go back here. Can we just go back and see only Radiance? Yeah, it's gonna show us largely Radiance here. That's what I'm looking for. So she is just absolutely excellent. Ignore the gear. I'm actually gonna work on my gear. That's the next thing to work on my account. I think it's pretty cool that like only a couple of weeks in, I'm already at the point where I have real comps, real teams, and I can do other important stuff in the game, right? I'm building up as well. I haven't managed to inspire Annalise, fine. Inspiring is basically adding extra copies to increase power. This is my max talent hero, hitting 5 right now, one of my favorites in the game. And everything else, look, these are the stats we care about. It tells us what stats to put stuff in the game. There's a website that we can click that we can look, we have, it even tells us what gear equipments we have, bonuses we have. But there's ways, by the way, in the game to like check out exactly what gear to put on. But this is one of my main champions. This is a damage dealer, a front row damage dealer. It's really good. She inflicts radiant damage and enhances allies through possess. So basically what you do is at the start of the game, you put her right behind an ally, and then she bonds with them. At the start of battle, she's going to basically jump inside them, and they're getting 20% med HP, 20% damage, and 20% ultimate energy. 5 seconds after the battle starts, she comes out with her ultimate skill. That's obviously fantastic, right? This is serious damage. She's making whatever your second best champion is way better, and she just absolutely, absolutely dominates. What else do we get? Her ultimate skill, the thing that she jumps in doing, is a giant radiant damage. You can see what it does, right? Details right here. Boom, it's going to give like ridiculous amounts of details on even the stats. This game does not hide things for you. We got 150 attack and 10 max HP radiant damage to everyone in an area, right? It jumps up, knocks them up, forces displacement so they're unable to use attacks or skills, basically stuns everyone, and prevents them from launching basic attack cast skills. So it jumps up and it has 100% to knocked up or stunned for 5 seconds. In this game, that's a huge amount of time. She's an absolute monster. I also have Control. This is the Holy Light Protection. She reserves 30 aura energy to all aura heroes and applies shield to allies. When shield grant by the skill is lost, she deals damage to the enemy in a 3x3 area. Boom, look, this much it tells you every time. A 3x3 area around that protected ally. If the ally still has a shield, deals radiant damage to enemies within range. Wildly good, right? Everything here really, really complements each other, or particularly the enhance and control. This is something nice if we get some extra shields. So when a shield granted by this skill, right? So like it's specifically for the shield. So if you have other shields, you can keep that other shield and get extra bonus stuff. She is why I decided to try and build around the Radiance archetype. And look at how freaking cool she looks. She's unbelievably cool. She even has like her special skill that we showed you in previous videos. Sorry, I know we've talked about her before, but I love her. We also have Annalises, who turns into a goddamn dragon. She's a Radiance damage dealer. She's nice and long distance, long range, right? Your damage gains condensation. When they gain aura energy and aura allies consume aura energy, accumulates condensation stacks for a special attack that deals massive damage. And this is a special attack, deals 2 instances of radiance to all enemies. And again, we can just say boop, 300% attack, 50% HP radiant to all enemies. And you get an enhanced state for 10 seconds, restoring 5 aura energy every second. So she's constantly going to be restoring her aura and getting back to this ability. This enhanced state, the hero's crystal arrows and dazzling crystal arrows ignore 60% defense. So she just starts doing crazy, crazy defense here. I've skilled her up all the way, as you can see. Yeah, restores 5 aura to 1 aura at the lowest ally. And then her other skills are just like damage, right? Brief Charge fires an arrow that deals radiant damage to current enemy and inflicts cutting edge. Cutting edge means they take 25% more radiant damage for the whole radiant team. That's pretty goddamn nice. Then we have the Crystal Light Flow. Really powerful stuff, right? This is how we get the condensation. Condensation 10 stacks, we get an extra special attack and it can't be dispelled. So each time the hero gains aura, gains 1 stack of condensation. So if we can increase aura, basically building around aura teams, we get giant radiant damage spikes. We consume 5 energy to upgrade a crystal arrow to a dazzling crystal arrow, which deals radiant damage. Well, look at that. Oh, we can also upgrade her skill. She can also be level 5. I just did a bunch of talent stuff here. Um, Whenever deal max HP, we get silence. Okay. 50 aura energy. We restore 10 HP. No, she's too squishy. Own max HP by 20. So max HP by 20 is probably really good here. We're telling her deals damage. I mean, silence for 3 seconds whenever we do max HP seems really, really nice to me. So we're going to go with that. I'm not sure if it's right. We can always reset these later, convert materials, reset, and try again. But I'm pretty sure I want the silence because that's insanely good. Next up, we've got our lovely, lovely Linkos. Linkos is a radiant damage dealer. Look at all the radiant damage dealers we have. Grants aura energy to allies and summons an accompanist for coordinated attacks with the ultimate skill. His ultimate skill right here. We're gonna need to upgrade these properly, right? I think he's we can also upgrade him. Let's read what he does first, and then we're gonna upgrade him too. So he is deals radiant to all heroes and the aura ally with the highest attack gains 40 aura energy, 30% damage up for 10 seconds. So that's usually one of these two, right? After it summons the accompanist to follow the aura ally with the highest attack, and the accompanist disappears when Linkos runs out of aura energy. So he just summons a nice, cool person. We can get his last level up here. Can we do this? And just finish this. Boom, skill upgrade, skill upgrade. These upgrades are actually hard to come by, so you don't want to use them willy-nilly, but it's hard for me to imagine not using Linkos, who's a giant aura booster and aura damage dealer in an aura team. Gains 25 aura energy, attacks enemy within then attacks enemies within range 3 times, dealing radiant damage each time. You love to see it. Gains 60 aura energy at the start of the battle. The aura ally with the highest attack other than this also gains 60 aura energy. I.e., again, that's going to be our lovely friend Talithia, because there you go, Annalise's animation's happening. Annalise's will be chilling inside her, giving her that bonus 90% of the time. And then we have our lovely, lovely, lovely one, which is just in Famiander and Trial Breakthrough Battles, increase all his attack. Sure, why not? Why not just have a little bit extra upgrade, right? It doesn't hurt to have that little bit extra upgrade. We don't really care about upgrading this. This is borderline to upgrade, but I think I'm gonna. Oh nope, I don't have any more of those skill tomes. Those are still the hardest thing to come by. All right, so we're gonna activate talent. We don't do max HP. Um, After consuming aura energy, increased attack by 10 seconds. That seems really good because we're doing that all the time. And then when aura energy is above 50%, damage dealt is increased by 10%. That's really good early damage. I think we're actually going to go with Righteous Fury here and continue alone to our next champion, our next hero, who is the great, absolutely wild, yet another person that has this is a hilarious looking little elf on a deer, yes, but the deer is like the normal thing, the super thing, Norendil. Another damage dealer. This grants rally to heroes. I use him because I like the special animation, but I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be using him and should be using our lovely Danella instead. But I think Danella looks kind of dumb, so I'm using the lovely Lorendil. Lorendil is increase all allies crit damage by 24% in all battles, which is fantastic. Once the hero's ultimate skill fully recharges, grants 1 stack of rally, and rally is a stackable buff that's consumed whenever we get 3. Whenever the character has ultimate skill, enchants the instance of the ultimate skill up to 3 stacks. Deals radiant damage to all enemies. We haven't used any upgrades here. We need to. Deals radiant damage to all enemies within range whenever an ally has a spell that consumes rally, the skill recharge time resets, which is nice to see, right? Deals radiant damage to enemies within range when the ally has it. Skills recharge time reset. Sorry. And then creates a domain for 15 seconds when allies consume rally through their ultimate skills. Whenever an ally has skills, they get a domain that recharges their ultimate energy by 25%. So he means basically you get a bunch more rally, right? I really, really, really want this to be leveled up. This is the one I want to level up, but I don't have the skills for it. So increases the skill effect of 40% crit rate up, grants crit damage up to all by each increased stack of rally. Again, I don't have enough of those tomes to really do it, but it's fine. We do have Danella as well. and Danella is chilling with no equipment right now because I stopped using her. I decided I would rather just use so Danella is not a tank. She's a debuff healer, and I need a tank. So I'm using this as a tank. He's an epic. We'll cover him in a later video. But I'm using Danella right now, and Danella's main use here is that she has some really cool debuffs. She stuns like crazy. She increases accuracy, which means stuns, right? All the stuff. She has a healing prohibition. She has a magic puppet bird that gives healing prohibition. Um, Good chance of it, and just some decent radiant damage. Activates the spanner to deal radiant damage to all enemies and 100% to stun for 3 seconds. Again, that second stun is really, really good with Annalise's, but deals radiant damage to all enemies, 70% of attack penalty 2, reduces accuracy by 50%, and then reduces attack 75% chance of attack penalty 1. She's really, really good. I really wish I could use her. I'm not 100% sure that Laurenthiel is better because I don't have anything else that keys off Rally. The last legendary I have in this faction is our Radiance Shala. Shala got cut. She's a Radiance damage dealer, and she buffs allies and allows self and or allies to gain additional ultimate energy. The additional ultimate energy is nice. Attack in all battles is nice. Aura ally consumes an aura energy. Hero and aura ally with the highest attack gains 1 stack crit damage up. Nice to have. But that's not rally, right? If it was rally, we could use them together. 15 aura energy and deals radiant damage to the targets and surrounding enemies, which is nice if they're bunched, but if they're not, eh. If you have less than 50%, 30 aura energy, and adds additional 15 ultimate energy. And then gains 20 aura energy and unleashes an energy wave that can bounce between enemies. And she just throws a little ball that bounces at everyone. It's okay. She's okay. She is really cool looking. I really like that she's sort of a bard cat, but she's also not really worth going out of my way for at the moment. Um, the next the next group we're going to look at here is going to be the fire. I have very, very few fire. We'll just take a quick look at the two. Holdork was one of my first champions. He's a fire debuff inflictor that does fire damage. So what we're going to do is when this hero skill increases damage, checking this out very quickly. Um, yeah. So, sorry. Um, a friend asked me to do something, so I pressed the button that was requested of me. Um, when the hero skill deals damage to enemies within 3 tiles, increase the damage dealt by 50%. Yeah, great. So, um, like that's really solid, right? Except that his damage is sort of mid. Deals fire damage to enemies within range with 100% switching blind. Blind is nice, right? Blind is prevents basic attacks, which is very nice, and reduces ultimate energy with attack penalty too, right? Reduces attack by 50% and places ultimate down. All of those things are good. Again, just a nice little debuffer. A good, like, look, debuffs are good, but it feels relatively random. Deals fire damage to enemies within range, 100% chance of dispelling 2 buffs on them, 100% chance of inflicting accuracy penalty too. Not bad, right? 50% less accuracy. Stuns them as well. Reduces ultimate 50% with 100% of stun for 5 seconds. The stun is the calling card here. Everything else is kind of like mid. I like Holdark, but I don't love him. I do love Caspar. I'm a big Caspar fan. Caspar is really, really cool. Increase allies attack by 24%. Just I don't have anything else wild, right? Anything else fire. When an ally wild dice rolls, uh, is even, he gains 1 stack of Absurd Charade. Absurd Charade increases damage 10% up to 20 stacks, which means up to 200%. Throws daggers, dealing fire damage 3 times. Each stack of Absurd Charade on the hero. The skill ignores 1% of defense, and we can buff that even more damage. Wild means roll a 6-sided dice, by the way. Sorry. Whenever you see a wild skill, you roll a 6-sided dice. 5 damage per dice roll point. So, Wild deals fire damage to an enemy and inflicts a mark for 10 seconds. The mark is um, basically whenever you get a wild roll greater than or equal to 4, you launch an extra knife of fire damage. She's really cool, but not that great. Is basically how I would describe Caspar. Don't go out of your way for Caspar. I grabbed Caspar because she looked cool before I knew what I was doing. We have a ridiculous amount of ice champions. Ice has been real good to us. It's our second best faction. So we are going to continue to build toward ice. Starting with we have Alfonso, who is just basically the Ice King from Game of Thrones. He is a lovely ice tank that uses cold damage and gets Death Blessing. So he's got a lovely HP in Fae and Meander. At battle start, 5 stacks of Death Blessing. Reduces damage taken by 5% for each stack, and after taking damage, loses 1. So 25% less damage at the start of battle with a bunch of extra HP is nice. attacks him within range, cold damage, and then gains a stack of Death Blessing for each enemy hit. So if he hits a bunch of enemies, he's getting a bunch more. He also gives all allies defense up to 60% defense, which is fantastic. And then he gets a shield to all allies. While having a shield, they parry damage when taking damage, so counterattack. We also have Urion. Urion looks unbelievably cool. He's another one I grabbed real early, right away. He's got hilariously when receiving fatal damage, he becomes immune to death, moves all control effects and debuffs, and then raises shield, stops attacking, gaining, receiving, healing up to. So he'll take 40% more healing, recovery over time, restores 1.5% max HP every second, and invincibility if you do all damage. So just a casual. Once every 60 seconds, he becomes an unkillable monster. He doesn't do all that much more. It's just that so good. That's what he's used for, right? Um, Deals cold damage to the enemies within range, dispels all of their shields with 70% chance of lowering their attack. That's some tanky tankerness, right? All enemies lower their attack and take an attack penalty. Grants ally protection to all allies except this hero. Ally protection means absorb some damage, gains a shield for 10 seconds and 30% damage reduction, and defense up. What a tank. What a tank. Like these two together make this near unkillable. You, dear friends, if you download the game, also have Hochadar, and I keep wanting to not love Hochadar, and I do. He's an ice damage dealer. He's got a giant horse and a big ice crown. When he's alive, he extends the duration of frost granted by allies by 5 seconds. So when we have frost, which we don't on our other ice guys yet, he's going to basically explode all the frost, which is a nice thing to do. He grants 20% attack up to allies, then deals cold damage to enemies in the target area and inflicts frost. Oh, so he gives his own frost. Great. And boosts all the allies' attack, and then inflicts frost on enemies, instantly detonates enemies under frost. Boom. Then detonates all enemies under frozen again. He's also really good at magic chess, if you're wondering. Ethereal is our most recent. We barely used her yet, and I need to use her more because she's. Look at that. That's why we need to use her. Basic attack range is 2. Not bad. Deals cold damage to the target and enemies within surrounding 3x3 area. Oh, okay, that's casually powerful. With a 75% chance to add Frost for 5 seconds. When Frost successfully applied, allied Frost heroes gain 5% ultimate energy. Oh, okay. After an enemy has been affected by Frost 5 times, she has a 100% chance to apply Icebound. And Icebound means they just freeze. He freezes them. And deal 150 ice damage, extra damage. She also has Ice Blade summon, right? She's going to summon Ice Blade. Oh, by the way, Frost is 5 stacks, 3% max HP, cold damage with extra damage based on attack. So we get a 100% chance of Frost for 5 seconds. And that basically how long the Ice Blade lasts is the level of this and the number of Frost stacks. And then we just have a lovely damage dealer. Condenses Ice Thorns to attack all enemies, dealing derivative cold damage 10 times. Yeah, you heard that right. 10. She has each it has 100% chance to apply frost for 5 seconds and 100% chance to apply bone chilling frost for 10 seconds. Bone chilling frost is the bear takes 25% increased cold damage on top of everything else. Utterly nasty damage dealer. Goes amazing with Hochadar. Unfortunately, our other two guys are not frosty. And meanwhile, and then we have Vinyara, who is another one that everyone gets early on. 40% accuracy is much whatever. When inflicted with control, the hero is immune to it and has a 100% chance of inflicting frozen on the caster for 1 second. Lovely, right? Reduces attack speed by 50 and recharge speed by 20 as whenever they try to inflict with any control ability. Grants a shield and defense up. You love it. Like, and then deals cold damage to the enemy, dispelling all their buffs and reducing their ultimate energy by 100%. 100% chance of frozen attack penalty too. So what we want to do is use Vinara with our Alfonso and Urion, right? Meanwhile, Hochadar goes with Ethereal. See how these are like different builds within the faction? Then we have Lasenia, who looks very cool. She's basically, I believe she's Elsa, right? Increase attack, allow these attack by 24%. Again, not half bad in all battles. Deals cold damage. Basic attack casts an ice ball that bounces between enemies. So her first attack is already a cold attack that can bounce and add frost. Love to see it. We know which team that puts her on. Marks an ally for 6 seconds. Every 1.5 second mark, that ally deals cold damage to the surrounding enemies. Again, really nice. And then summons an ice tornado at the location, dealing cold damage to enemies within range every 1 second for every with 100 chance of inflicting frost for 5 seconds. So again, we have 3 and we have 3. That's why this has been a little harder to build, friends. And then we've got our lovely Oster, who's an ice damage dealer that deals, you guessed it, frost. He is a lovely ranged ice damage dealer, good for the Famiander and Trial breakthroughs, which is always nice. Those are pains in the butts. When shooting arrows with basic attacks or skills, the hero fires a tracking arrow at up to 2 enemies, inflicted with frost, dealing cold damage to them with a 100% chance of frost for 5 seconds. Damage dealt by the tracking arrow also recharges the hero's ultimate energy by 2.5 seconds. I mean, come on. Then we've got the fires 3 arrows at the enemy with each dealing cold damage with a respective 50% chance of ignoring 100% defense. Yes, nasty. That's what we're saying here. Yes. Jumps into the air and shoots a powerful arrow, dealing cold damage to enemies within range. Okay. At the 100% chance of inflicting, you guessed it, frost. The tracking arrows attached to the skill will fire at enemies within range and deal higher damage. So we have, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Frost. That's 4 of our 5, right? We don't have a frost tank necessarily. Ice damage dealer, again, that inflicts frost. We do have it. We can run without a tank. We can just run as front range. We can run Troglar and Hochadar and be totally fine. And then run our animation time. Bam. Have to watch the animation, right? We can run our Ethereal and wait, is Ethereal the frost? Yeah. We can run our Ethereal and our Lysenia as our ice damage dealers. Oh, and Oster, and then Troglar and the other will hold up down the front. So we do have a lovely Frost team. We don't have the big finish of that, like just Ice damage team. The first time an enemy with Frost removes the target's shield and inflicts an additional cold damage. So just ignore shields. After casting a skill for each enemy hit, gains 1 stack of Frigid Force. Frigid Force means each attack consumes 1 stack of Frigid Force to enhance it to Tornado Slash. It's really cool. You just get a better attack out of the deal. All right, jumps up and strikes the enemy with the lowest current HP, which means ignores lines, which is really powerful. With a 100% chance of inflicting frost for 10 seconds, recharges ultimate energy by 20% when hitting an enemy under frost. So let's just get an ultimate, which is a 20% attack up to all frost heroes, i.e. the whole team. Leaps into the target's location, dealing cold damage to enemies within range. Um, yeah, again, jumps through the lines, deals cold damage to everyone. Afterwards, gets a 100% chance of inflicting 2 stacks of frost for 10 seconds. You can see how all the Frosties work together, right? They're just a little squishier than we would like. So we do have a Frost team. That is the only teams we have. Unfortunately, Lightning does not love us. We just have Divine Ascetic. Nothing else and no one else. Divine Ascetic is really, really cool. He's another one of the like heroes that has special animations and is just like unbelievably ridiculously cool. Look at that. I would like some more lightning, mostly so I can use him more. I throw him into teams at random sometimes because he's so cool. All attack is nice. Sorry, damage deal. It gets obsession and breakage. Obsession is each stack of obsession increases damage reduction and basic attack lifesteal to keep him alive. Breakage is increases next year's ultimate damage by 2%, up to 50. When Dauntless allies launch basic attacks, we don't have any other real Dauntless is the problem. When Dauntless allies attack basic attacks, you get obsession and 1 breakage, which is nice, right? We just don't have anything to build around with him yet. He's also got a lovely big lightning damage to enemies for each 10 stacks of addition. You get extra attacks here. Again, if we had more Dauntless, this would be incredibly, incredibly strong. And then attacks enemies in range dealing lightning damage. It consumes the breakage with each stack increasing damage by 2%, which eventually adds up to a ton, but we just don't have enough stuff to work with him yet. Sad day. We will get there. Look, we don't have the legendary tomes for these things anyway. The extra books that will up their abilities to make them really, really worth it. Necrosis, we are doing a little bit of work with. We're almost there for Necrosis teams. Let's take a look at our 3 Necrosis friends. We've got our Urzalis, who's a lovely damage dealer, who again looks incredibly cool. Look at this dude's design. I mean, like, don't at me. Look at this guy's design. This is phenomenal design. Attack in all battles is always nice. Each time an ally's undead summoned unit dies, he summons a skeleton where it died. And then the skeletons won't trigger this again. Deals necrotic to enemies within range for each ally's undead summoned unit on the field. So we want a bunch of summons with him. And then ultimate deals necrotic damage to enemies in range, then 20% attack up to all summons and 30% defense. Unfortunately, Tauren is a necrosis healer, not a necrosis summoner, right? Increases all ally resistance by 40% in all battles. As the battle starts, Marks enhances the first ally in front of the hero, which is nice. 20% of the cleric's max HP and defense. Then that hero gains invisibility, which means they can't be hit. Heals the ally with the lowest HP and marks allies, and then grants invisibility to allies for 10 seconds. So he's a really, really, really nice healer and support with a little bit of damage and a little bit of debuff stuff. Good champion to have access to, and one of the better ones to just throw into a random team when necessary. Then finally, we have Ripikas, who's our necrotic damage dealer. But please note, we just don't have the summons that we want. The hero gains healing, you'll do 50% of the healing enemies receive, which is nice if we're running into teams that do that. Unleash a wide range slash with the chance of knocking up, basically saying you can't do basic attacks, and stunning. So again, really nice, like it was before. Then the ultimate is launch. 3 spirit attacks at enemies, and does a bunch of basically negative stuff. Basically says you can't attack me nearly as well. So he's an okay damage dealer. Look, I need some summoners because the real king of this is Urzalis, and I just don't have anything to really to work with him. The last faction for legendaries. Oopsie. Yeah, because we can look at like the pairs, right? Incandescence, Vertigo, and Devitalization is like the pairs of these. But oh man, look at all the new poisoners we have. Where do we get all these new poisoners? When the hell did that happen? Whatever. Let's look at our poison team, which is like a ton of new people. I got Urgander way too early. I thought I was gonna build around poison. Urgander's really great, really cool looking. Um, he's got like a little bit of Dante from Devil May Cry to him. He's got a lovely defense in arena. He's got 20% chance of attack penalty on just his basic one, 50% reduce attack. Deals poison damage with 100% chance of reducing um, their ultimate energy, and then heals himself. So lovely tank, and is going to reduce their ability to do their big powerful thing, and then taunts enemies within range for 5 seconds and deals poison damage, and he gains immortality for 10 seconds. So I don't know. Seems like that's all good, right? What a great tank. And then we've got our homie, the Rat King, who I like. I want to play poison literally because he exists. He is the reason to play poison for me. He is a rat riding what amounts to an armadillo while smoking a pipe, chilling with his feet up. I love him. Attack in all battles, love it. Each time true damage is dealt, consuming corrosion, that's damage increased by 50%. So if we have other corrosion heroes, which we'll see if we do, he's increasing their damage by 15%, and that means ignores target's defense when dealing damage, unaffected by damage boosts and penalties, and whatever, you get the idea. All right, summons a giant mouse to strike enemies within range, dealing poison damage. Cool. Let's just make more mice, right? Corrosion intensity, the percentage of damage converted to corrosion against the enemy when dealing poison. If the enemy is fully corroded, deals direct damage instead. Maximum corrosion intensity is 50. And then we have corrosion intensity 10%. Gains 1 stack of rot when dealing damage by consuming a target's corrosion. Each stack is a everlasting rot. So we need a bunch of corrosion, basically, right? If we get a bunch of corrosion, he does a ton of true damage. He's really, really cool. Do we have corrosion, though? Poison damage dealer that deals poison, inflicts toxin. Nope, that's the wrong one, right? When toxin damage dealt by allies, interval is reduced by 2 seconds. Uh, fires 3 bolts at random. Each one gets poison and plants toxin. Toxin is basically poison damage. And then fires a bolt dealing poison damage, marking, and then they get more poison damage. Oh no, we have 3 different guys, right? They just don't go together here especially well. But we do have another corrosion damage dealer here. This is going to be what's her name? Sacradia. Again, all allies attack in dungeons. When enemies are under corrosion, increase their damage taken by 15% and true damage by 15%. Love it. Um, corrosion intensity on her second skill, right? Like she's going to increase corrosion by 10%, basically by doing this. Yeah, whenever we hit with poison damage, we're going to add corrosion here. And then 15% on the last one deals poison damage twice, damage within range, 100% chance of inflicting 30% poison vulnerability. So a huge damage deal that makes you take more damage overall. And then I don't know where Pardis came from. I vaguely remember getting Pardis. Pardis is a lovely starter, it looks like. What a cool freaking dude. I am very happy to have him. Let's play a starter who gets a little drink on. Increases damage in all battles. We are really going to need some. Thank goodness we have Urgander, because this is all damage dealers. But he is not he's got another corrosion, right? So we've got 3 corrosion, we're 1 away from a really good team, and that's assuming none of the epics do it. While the hero is on the field, for every 30% max HP corrosion inflicted on enemy, 100% chance of a random debuff. Just a random debuff casually. Randomly selects enemy every 10 seconds, 100% inflict chance of a random debuff. You'll love to see it. deals poison damage to surrounding enemies. Just if you're around him, you just take a bunch of poison damage, and then summons 5 fireflies, which are received after an 8-second flight. During this time, the fireflies automatically attack on the field, dealing poison damage with a 100% chance of attack penalty. And corrosion intensity, again, 20% here. So you love it, right? Like we have 3 corrosion. We just need one more hero there. We are in the process of building an absolute crap ton of really powerful teams here. We are basically ready to build we have a Radiance team. We are basically ready to build an Ice team. We have a full Frost team, and we are 1 hero away from a really strong Poison team. We're going to review our epics in a video real soon. Don't forget to download this game. Look at this hero. Look at this hero. Tell me these aren't the coolest looking designs around. And then one more. I want her to turn into a dragon for you. I can't get her to, but go be a dragon. She just refuses to be a dragon for you. I'm sorry, but download the game. You'll get these champions soon. I got how many legendaries was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 legendaries in about 2 weeks. Come on. This game is ridiculous. Download it. Check it out. The most free to play gacha you're ever going to play. Enjoy yourself. And I'll see you tomorrow for another video when we go look at some epics. Peace.